What's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of In-Depth Analysis. Today we're going to be going over Raid Itachi Uchiha, the one that dropped already in Japan and will drop in the upcoming days in global. So I'm going to be going over everything there is to know about that. But before we do that, I just wanted to make a note that I will not be going over Utakata, because Hero made a analysis video on that and I don't want to make one after that. I think his analysis video is really good, and I'll link it below so you guys can check out his video if you want to go see like everything you need to know about Utakata. So I won't be making one on him, and this will just be for Itachi. So first thing first, Itachi's cost is 80, and he has 5 abilities, so you can bring him down to 40. So his max HP and max attack before any pills is 1562, and that was for HP, and max attack is 1820. So with pills it's 1862 for HP and 1920 for attack. His attack range is mid. Field skill is boost critical rate by 1.4 times to 1.9 times. Buddy skill is reduces chance of being sealed by 20%. Normal jutsu, 6 chakra, 4 times attack in skill damage to all enemies in range, 50% chance of reducing their attack for 6 turns. Ultimate jutsu, 12 chakra, 8 times attack and skill damage to all enemies in range, 30% chance to seal jutsu for 2 turns. And I'm also going to go over the abilities. First 3 abilities are reduces chance of being sealed by 10%, and then 4th ability is boost attack by 100. 5th ability is boost jutsu sealing rate by 10%. So that last boost jutsu sealing rate will only affect his ultimate. So for all the damage calculations that I'm going to do, it's all going to be with another 100 attack from his abilities. Since he's a farmable character, I want to include all of his abilities in the calculations as well. So in this calculations, instead of using 1920 for the attack, I'll be using 2020, including that extra 100 for the ability and the 100 for the pills. So let's take a look at his normal jutsu, right? 4 times attack in skill damage to all enemies in range, 50% chance of reducing their attack for 6 turns. So how much damage does this actually do? If you take a look at the math, 4 times 2020 is 8080. So he's doing 8080 damage to all enemies in range, and the size of the box is it's a square box, decent, maybe as tall as his character model or a little bit smaller than that, and maybe like quarter to half a, I wouldn't say half a screen, it's quarter of a screen length. I'll try to include a clip of it if I can. So that's the size. It's similar to the other fireball style jutsus that like the other Sasuke's and Itachi has. But the number 8080 is pretty high for a normal jutsu, considering it's AoE as well. If you take a look at the limit break Itachi, Heart Itachi, that's part of the Blazing Fest, his jutsu max limit broken does 5220 damage, or 5221 damage after rounding, because it's a 2.6 multiplier times 2008 damage or attack. So he's already doing roughly 3000 more damage than limit break Itachi. So the stats that I'm going over right now are this Raid Itachi max limit broken. These aren't his level 100 stats, right? You have to have Itachi at level 150 for these numbers to be true. So I mean, even then with the limit break, his stats are really good. The only downside is the chakra cost. 6 cost chakra is pretty big, nothing a little stalling can't get over, but preferably 5 and 10 would have been a lot better for him. And but I see why. Like four times multipliers is pretty high for a normal jutsu. And then the second part of his jutsu, 50% chance of reducing their attack for 6 turns. It's actually a good amount, right? 6 turns is a lot. So even if it's 50% chance, you never know. Like if you're normally going to be using it on AoE, and 8,000 damage is on like the brink of killing things in S rank. So it's either gonna kill something or just leave them up with a like sliver of health. So reducing their attack does help, because if you attack maybe 5 or 6 enemies, 3 of them live, but you end up reducing their attack, you know, the amount of damage you take the next turn will be significantly reduced. And I believe it's a 40% attack reduction. Someone wrote it down on Reddit somewhere, but I gotta confirm it myself. His ultimate jutsu, 8 times attack in skill damage to all enemies in range, 30% chance to seal jutsu for 2 turns. So the 30% chance to seal jutsu for 2 turns is pretty minimal. Even with the boost from his final ability that brings it up to 40%, it doesn't really do much. So that's like a negligible part. I guess it's useful. 2 turns isn't really that much. If it was maybe 50% chance to seal for like 3 or 4 turns, it'd be a lot better. The ultimate jutsu total damage is 8 times 2020. That gives you 16,160. So in terms of comparing this to other people, he does 3,000 more damage than Heart Itachi, right? Blazing Fest Itachi, who only does 12,048. But the size of the jutsu is a big difference. Heart Itachi has a long range jutsu that hits, hits a good, covers a good amount of the screen. This Itachi's ultimate jutsu is like pencil-like, where it's thin but long, similar to, if you guys remember, Bravery Kakashi's normal jutsu, or Wisdom Zabuza, his normal jutsu, how it's like that skinny line that goes across the entire screen. So the fact that it's AoE isn't too much of a big deal, considering that you normally won't be hitting multiple enemies with it. But even as a single target jutsu, it does a good amount of damage. Comparing this to Kirin Sasuke, for example, Kirin Sasuke does 15,624 damage with his ultimate jutsu. Also given the fact that it's 8 chakra, but just comparing the ultimates against each other, they're both AoE, and that's the damage difference. So this Itachi does more damage. So in terms of damage, he's pretty good. His utility lacks a little bit. If the percentages were slightly a bit higher, this Itachi would be a really good card. Right now he's on the brink of, I'd say, average to good. Right, he's like somewhere between there. So he's a little bit better than average. I wouldn't say he's like really good, but he's probably just good. 40 cost, you can run him pretty easily on any skill team. So the thing that'll come in most handy is going to be his normal jutsu for reducing attack. If you're ever versing big bosses, and normally the way you're going to do it is when you get to a boss, you'll use his normal jutsu over his ultimate, because you're not going to be going for the damage, you're going to be going for the attack reduction. Since 6 turns is it's a good amount of like health you're saving, and the difference in damage, so you're sacrificing not really much damage, only because you're not sacrificing any damage in a sense, because the ultimate jutsu and the normal jutsu are exactly doubled multipliers. So instead of doing 16,160 damage, you're going to be doing half of that twice. But you're gonna, each time you do that, you're giving yourself a 50% chance to reduce the attack. So that's most likely going to be the proper way to use it. Normally you will not be using his ultimate jutsu unless you just want to see the animation, because like I said, the multiplier on his ultimate jutsu is low compared to his normal jutsu. Normally what happens is you get there's a little bonus in a sense for saving up your ultimate jutsu, where your ultimate jutsu is normally going to do better than using your single jutsu twice, but in this case it's not. So using your normal jutsu twice is more often than not going to be better, unless it's a situation where you want to kill off something and you have the 12 chakra, you know, and a normal jutsu won't kill it off and you need that extra push. You'll use your ultimate jutsu, but 9 out of 10 times you're just going to be using your normal jutsu twice. So, or at least that's the proper way to use it. Other than that, I just want to compare him to some other. Okay, so the only other person I really wanted to compare him to was, since he was mid-range. Actually, can't remember. Oh well, I think comparing him to the other Itachi is perfectly fine, just so you guys can see the difference. But that Itachi is large range, while this Itachi is mid. Some other people that are mid-range is Shikaku Gaara, for example, whose stats are 1668 before limit break. Oh, sorry, it's 1896 HP, 1668 attack. These are before limit break, including pills. His attack is over 2000 with limit break. So if you know, comparing it in that sense, they both have essentially over 2000 damage for mid range, which is really solid. And Gaara is a blazing fast character. Oh no, I was talking about the wrong Gaara. That was the Kazekage Gaara stats, not the Shikaku Gaara. But either way, Kazekage Gaara is a blazing fast unit, and those he's still mid range, so it ends up, you know, still being a pretty decent comparison. But I think that about covers everything that you need to know about Itachi. The most basic thing from this video to take is use his normal jutsu twice. That's really it. So thank you guys for watching, and let me know what character you want to see next as the analysis character. Peace out.